Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. We're in for another great lesson. We're talking about how to choose the right life partner or spouse, husband, wife. We know that it's a touchy topic because a lot of confusion in the world with dealing with this subject. And what sparked this debate was a message that we received from one of our viewers. We promote a lot of stuff about marriage, and they say it's not worth getting married, and I'll share that with you. But before that, I just want to share how we have the experience to talk about this subject. What gives us the authority to talk on this subject? And what say you, honey?
But first things first, we just celebrated our 20-year anniversary at the beginning of this month.
20 years.
20 years.
20.
Actually, no, last month.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of last month.
Right.
So 20 years of marriage, 22 years in a relationship.
So I think we got a lot of experience on
We
touching
know
on this
something,
topic.
guys.
Right,
we know
right.
something. We're not experts, but we know something.
Yep. And we touched on it before about marriage, marriage tips, marriage advice. We did a video. You can go check that out. But we want to talk about before you get married, making sure you pick the right person. Because I'm sure if we always talk about it, if we knew certain things, we would have did certain things different in the beginning.
Absolutely.
So,
we did not do everything perfect. And this
Right.
is why we can also speak on it too.
Mm-hmm.
From our experience and also from experiences of others who we have seen around us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and guys, like you're saying, we're not perfect, and this lesson is not to say that the partner that you'll pick will be perfect.
Right.
We know that, especially in our community, we come from brokenness. There's a lot of trauma in our community, so we have to kind of take what we have. But what we want to talk about today is avoiding a lot of those things, a lot of those mistakes that people make when picking the right mate. Because a lot of these things we can avoid.
Absolutely.
We cannot get ourselves into bad situations, and that's a lot what we want to talk about on how to judge a situation, making the right decision if this person is right for you. We're going to tell you what things to look for, what not to look for, especially when you're dating and courting each other.
Right.
And that's what we're going to cover in this lesson. So hope you guys got pen and paper, take notes. You're getting life advice from a couple that's been together 22 years. So we have a lot to share with you guys.
Yes.
But what started this topic, what started this debate was a comment from one of our subscribers. He said, with the way America is, and he was reacting to a banner about marriage. He said, with the way America is set up now and all these women trying to act like Megan Thee Stallion, women are never satisfied and will always be looking for a better man. Save yourself some dignity and don't get married. It's not worth it. Wow.
I wonder what y'all would say about that.
Wow. That's the wrong attitude to have, guys. I was kind of responded to this person just saying is really, where are you looking? Because what you focus on, it magnifies. What you scripture says, knock and you will find, ask and you will receive.
Yes.
Yep. Seek and you will find it. Yep. So it all depends where you're looking at, what you're filling your mind with. Because if that's all you're seeing, that tells me that you're flooding your mind with these things. You're watching the Megan Thee Stallion videos and stuff like that. So,
and you're cutting off a whole group of women that does exist.
Exactly.
That you're saying does not exist.
Exactly. So guys, in this video we're going to show you how to pick the right mate. We're going to help you pick the right mate. And the question we got to ask is, before that is, we got to rewind it and ask, why don't we know how to pick the right mate? How did that happen? Why don't we know? And I think one of the reasons why is we never saw it. Yep, we never saw it.
Yes.
Again, we come from trauma. We come from brokenness. We never seen that example of a healthy marriage coming up in the household, healthy relationships coming up in the household. So it's like we're almost, our relationships almost doomed from the beginning. We kind of like to try to build things on hope, and we're going to talk about that. Build relationships on hope. I hope it get better. I hope this person will change. And guys, you really can't go on that. You have to go on behavior, and I'm going to expound on that also.
And humility too.
Right.
Because pride will kill it.
Mm-hmm. Another reason why our relationships are doomed is because we are groomed at a young age to see unhealthy relationships. So we never saw an example, and the examples we do see are unhealthy. That goes back to what the commenter said. He's seeing the example of the Megan Thee Stallion. So that's the example of femininity that he's seeing, when there's a whole other category of women who are totally opposite from Megan. So we can't go at it. We never see the healthy part of relationship, the healthy part of humans, of interacting with each other. We always see the extremes, either one extreme or the other. And I think that's kind of a conspiracy promoted upon us, upon the black community. I think they don't want us to see healthy relationships.
No.
Because again, the power comes from with the unity of the family.
Absolutely.
And that's another topic we're gonna do a video on the destruction of the black family.
Right.
Another example too I would like to give is, guys, what you see when you're going out and about, especially us again, what we like to spend all of our money on. Just say guys, for example. What you see them spending money on? Cars.
Oh, you talking about material things? Yes, definitely. Cars, shoes, clothes, materialistic
phones.
things.
Today, houses,
I don't know,
big houses.
It's a little different, but the youngsters today, I know a lot of it is material.
The older men too.
Oh,
the older men too. How many 30, 40-year-old men we seen with rims?
Right. Oh my goodness.
Over 40 years old and you still buying rims.
And they trying to act like the 18 or 20-something-year-old guys.
Exactly.
And they're supposed to be elders.
So in our community, guys, we spend more money on material things instead of spending it on our mental health. Counseling services. Think about it, like the government. The government makes us do training for driver's licenses. We can't just go to the DMV and say, just give me a license. You have to show proof that you had so many hours of training. But we never, to go get a marriage license, you can just go to the courthouse.
Right.
You don't have to show no proof of training, no hours that you took learning about each other, nothing to certify that you qualified to get married. So again, we're spending more time, more money, more effort onto outside things, material things, than on our mental health, on counseling. Exactly, building ourselves up.
And counseling, guys, it can be spiritual counseling, or it can be from an actual counselor as well. Because they have some people in this walk who does not have fellowship, or who do not know anyone that they can, talk to for spiritual counsel. So whatever way you can get a good counselor to be able to help you through your trauma, because that's another thing too. We'll mention that's important as well. Whatever, then do that. Just make sure that they align with your views. Or they respect your views. And they're gonna guide you right, and always compare what you hear with YAH's word. Exactly.
It's very true. Another example is why our relationships are doomed is, we try to put a square peg into a round hole. It's like oil and water don't mix. We saw the story the other day of the girl. Seemed like she was wholesome, and she tried to convert somebody that was
oh my goodness
a felon. And we're not saying people don't deserve second chances or stuff like that.
Definitely not saying
we know
that at all.
People change.
Yes, because we've all been somewhere. Every last one of us has sinned and falls short of the glory of God.
So, but when I'm saying oil and water don't mix, is like if you have a biblical perspective about life, that's kind of your standard, that's your constitution, that's what you use to make decisions about life. You can't date someone or partner with someone they have a free spirit. Free-spirited person, they don't have no structure, they don't have nothing that's higher than them. They're their own God, they're their own authority, they're their own law. So how will somebody that submits to law, to authority, can mix with somebody that doesn't? It just doesn't work like that, guys.
And free spirit that's what we see on TV. The reality shows, the rappers, all of those things that make believe life that doesn't really exist in real life. Right. That's free spirit.
And another thing we go totally to the other extreme is we have these impractical standards. like for the men, there's a lot of men inside like the Hebrew culture, Hebrew Israelites. They're coming around with this doctrine that a woman has to be a virgin. She has to be pure and a virgin. It's kind of something like what Kevin Samuel was saying. If a woman is over a certain age, she's washed up. You don't have nothing anymore to offer a man.
And then you come back and start complaining about there's no women that are decent. When you have decent women that turn their lives over to Yah, turn their lives around, and they are decent.
Exactly.
But you're not looking at them because they're considered washed up to you.
Because they're not pure. What woman you know over her 30s? I'm not saying they're not out there, but that doesn't have kids or had a family already at a young age.
The majority of the women, and the reason too for that is because, just like I said a while ago, we have all sinned and fall short of the sin of Yah. So to be like, they need to be virgins. Then what about if these virgins would start telling you men who believe like that you need to be making 6 figures and 7 figures? Because guess what? These men that they like to go to in the scriptures.
Exactly.
These men, they were, what would we call them? They own
land, they own property, they were
the real 6 figures and 7 figure men.
Exactly.
What we call in modern day society. They really were the ones who made that kind of money. And those kind of men, they loved Yah, they esteemed Yah, and actually they put Yah above everything. They were true worshipers of Yah. So I mean, to compare to that, I mean, they were pretty much like kings.
Exactly.
So,
brothers, if you're gonna have that standard, then like my wife was saying, they can have the same standard. So now you're gonna see it as unfair. It doesn't go like that. We have to kind of meet each other where we are and build something together. That's what you're looking for. Building something together. So that's what we're talking about. We're going to dive into it. We're just talking about why the relationships are doomed from the beginning. 1, we never saw it. 2, we kind of have impractical standards. We are seeing the extreme of either side of the coin. But we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of when you dating someone, courting someone, what to look for, what not to look for. And I want to touch on, let's see what the world says about this topic on like as far as dating before you get married, what you should look for. And I took these questions from a Facebook group that we're in, and they asked this questions like, what should you look for before you get married, or the things to ask, and this is a worldly perspective. So let's look at their questions. Their questions was, what makes you feel loved? So, okay, that's an okay question. The next question, what do you consider infidelity? That they have different standards or levels of infidelity. I'm confused. So you see, guys, you can't go with the world's advice. If you're looking for worldly advice, this is not the video for you. We're coming from a biblical perspective. We're coming from Yah's word, Yah's truth, how he did it, how he wanted his people to do it.
If you want a worldly perspective, please do not watch this channel, because this is not where we are. This is not what we're doing.
So this is a good question. This is one of the questions that we actually encourage. It says, tell me about your family of origin. So that's a good one.
Absolutely.
Have you experienced trauma in your past, and how has it impacted you today? That's another good question. Now, what is your love language? Okay. And we still courting. I mean, we're courting right now. You jumping you putting the cart before the horse. If you're a horrible person, I even want to know your love language. I mean, I have to get to know you a couple of times before then. What are your core values? So that's another good one. So that's their questions. That's the worldly questions. We're going to dive into our questions, kind of the do's and don'ts of when you're courting and relationships and dating.
Right. Before we get to that, some of them we didn't mention. We seen some that was given some advice.
Right.
No, actually not advice. They was asking the question, what is your diet like?
Oh my goodness.
That was like the only question they put in there. What does your diet look like?
Right.
Another one said, and what is your finances?
Yep, a lot of us finances. How much money you make?
How much money do you make?
Oh my goodness. So that's way outside of y'all standards, guys. That's I mean, we know money is important, but when you're dating and courting, you kind of, like I said, you have to want to build something together, guys. You have to have the same mindset, same values. That's more important than money. How many people we see that have money and their relationships are exactly, they're miserable on the inside.
Miserable.
So relationship do's and don'ts. This is what we want you to do. This is what you should be looking for. So do number 1. I want you to build on friendship. Guys, this is the advice that we tell our kids. This is what we're sharing to you. And this is something that we wish we would have been told at the beginning too.
Right.
Build on friendship.
Build on friendship. That is very, very
Build
important.
on friendship. A lot of times, a lot of people just like to jump into the sack. Yep, want to rush it, go too fast, and then they wonder what happened. They have all kind of feelings. Why he don't love me? Why this? Why that? I thought he loved me and he said he was going to do this for me, but you didn't give you jumped into a relationship and in 2 weeks you in head over heels for him. You didn't know nothing about the man.
That goes back to what we were about to talk about, but I think we started talking about something else with the lady when we were talking about the man that went to jail. He was considered a felon at the time, and the lady, she was, I guess as you would say, what she appeared to be a decent person. And he went to jail, and she started communicating with him while he was in jail. I believe somebody that she knew him. And so she just got so infatuated with the idea of changing him.
While he was in jail.
And her just having this perfect man that she wanted to be.
Mold. She was going to mold him into what she wanted
him to be. And I mean, when I tell you, she did everything in her power to try to change him and she went and tried to get a job for him, help him to get jobs. And now him getting a job and her supporting him, I mean, that's a positive thing, but at what cost? She was doing it is not healthy.
Exactly.
You don't force it down on a man. A man has to have that already in him.
Exactly.
He has to already come with that drive in him that this is what I want. I know I need to be able to provide and stuff like that. So for her to have to shape and mold him into believing in that is unhealthy.
Exactly. That's something that I talk about, is especially in our community, we like to put the cart before the horse. So like what you were just saying, a man should already have that in him. Scriptures, Proverbs 11 says, 18:22 says, want to read that? Look right here.
It says, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from Yahuwah.
Scripture says he who finds a wife, not the woman find a man. It says the man finds the woman. So she had it backwards. She thought she was going to find him, change him, mold him, and put all these traits in him. She's going to make him a hard worker. He's going to make him change his life. She's going to make him want to settle down and have a family. That's not.
And he did not want it.
As soon as he got out of jail, he lasted about a month. He was out of there.
And guess where he was? Messing around with all kind of women on her, because she said it herself. She was saying how he kept cheating and he didn't want to stop, and she didn't understand why. And he was just looking like, like in shock, like to say, that's not what I want.
Right.
And at the end of everything, that's when she started preaching to him and saying, you need to change, you better than this, and trying to motivate him.
Right.
And he looked at her and he was like in shock, and he was like, you know what, she's a good woman, so I'm not gonna bash her or anything, but I just hope I just wish her the best.
And he was done.
He was like, I'm out. I don't want that. And I don't want you.
And that's what you have to see. You have to see if that person doesn't want that. That's why you have to give it time in a relationship. That's why we say build on friendship. You can't rush into things.
Can't rush. And then she was complaining when he got out of jail that he was going in the hood and hanging around his friends in the hood. Well, he was like, that's where I come from.
Bingo.
That's all I know.
Bingo.
Now you want me to change that?
If you would have waited, you would have found out that's all the things that he likes to do, and you would have found out that's you're not in agreement with it.
And we're not here to bash the guy. The guy was actually coming out and saying the truth. This is not what I want. This is not me. I don't want this.
Who you trying to make me be? That's not who I am.
That's not who I am.
So, again, you can't put a square peg in a round hole. Second you should be looking for, and this is the relationship do's and don'ts. You should be looking for. You want to read this?
Which one is it? This one here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yes. Have something they should have something that they fear greater than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, a higher power.
Right.
Making sure that y'all. Wait, what is that?
Y'all.
Okay, making sure that you guys are in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be order in the relationship. That is, oh my goodness, that is super, super important.
Exactly.
Because I mean, if they don't fear nothing greater than themselves, then they're gonna be that free spirit person that we were talking about at the beginning of this video.
Yep. And you're gonna wonder why they're not listening to you. They don't like being told what to do. They don't like
prideful.
Yep. Not humble.
Egotistic. I'm doing me, you doing you.
Yep. So you have to really ask yourself, do I want to settle down with this person? Because this person is a free spirit. Mm-hmm. They're not used to being tied down to anything. They don't like any type of authority, any type of structure. So is that the life that you want for yourself? Because trust me, guys, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Mm-hmm. If you think y'all going to get together, get married or whatever, and it's going to change, no, you're building on hope, you're building on sand. It doesn't work like that, guys. It's just
absolutely
human psychology. It doesn't work like that, guys. That's why we talk about investing in mental health, investing in counseling and things like that. That way you can work through these things.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Not only do we have experience when it comes to being married for so long, we also have worked on ourselves and our marriage spiritually and mentally.
Exactly.
So we do have not only experience but knowledge as well.
Exactly.
But we've worked on that.
Exactly. So
we've
that's how we can
on
speak
that.
from it. Again, and we're not talking now. We can speak on it again because we've been through it. We actually
there.
did it.
We've made mistakes too,
Exactly.
Not knowing. I mean, you come into a relationship, you guys both have two different backgrounds. You haven't been shown how to do it the right way. So you come into it and you're trying to create something and you don't even know what you're creating.
Exactly. You don't even know what you're building. You're just thinking, I'm going to build this thing that I see on TV. Well, the Cosbys looked happy on TV. Good times they looked happy.
Exactly.
Life don't work like that, guys. A lot of time I tell people, don't let TV fool you. What you see on TV is not reality.
And I often hear people say there's no manual for this, and I'm like, what?
There is a manual.
How are you gonna say there's no manual?
Follow YAH's ways. That's the manual.
I've heard that. Yes, I have.
Oh my goodness. That's where we mess up, when we start relying on our own understanding, our own ways.
Yep.
That's where the trouble comes, guys.
And you don't fear nothing greater than you.
Exactly. So the third, do what you should do while you're courting, while you're dating this person, what you're looking for. This is the things that you should do. You should be asking a lot of questions, especially about the family of origin.
Right.
What you tell our daughter when she's going to start dating, what to look for, what to do if she's talking with a guy?
Oh, first of all, ask him, was your father in your life? That's the first question. Was your father in your life? Did you have a male figure in your life? Did you ever have some kind of spiritual advisor or some kind of, how do you, like when it comes to your spiritual walk, how do you get fed? Just testing to see, does he fear something greater than himself? Is he on that path of spirituality?
Right.
Or is he just, in the world doing his own thing?
Is he accountable to somebody?
Exactly, absolutely. And a man. And we know too there's some situations where the guy may come up where either his dad died, mom died, even both parents, or he just didn't grow up without his father. But did you have a father figure? Did you have some kind of male influence? Some kind of, not just male influence, because male influence could be bad or good. Did you have a good male influence, a healthy male influence?
Right. Very true.
Did somebody hold you accountable as you were coming up?
Guys, you have to ask all these things, all these questions, because trust me, it will show up in their lives, it will show up in you guys' relationship. A man's relationship with his mother.
I was about to say that.
Yep, that will show up. A woman's relationship with her father, that will show up.
Ask those questions. How was your relationship with your father? How was your relationship with your mother? Men and women both. Because that could really affect y'all's relationship.
Exactly.
Based on what kind of relationship they have with their father or mother, and knowing if they healed from that.
Exactly. Because that's a lot of built up trauma, a lot of suppression, and that suppression is going to show up somewhere else, guys. It's going to show up somewhere else.
And sometimes they'll look to you to be able to fill that missing void. And that's impossible to do, because there's only one mother, one father. Nobody can fill those voids.
Exactly.
You know, you have to get help for that. You know, mental health.
Exactly.
So
that's true. That's a great question. That's things you should be asking when y'all courting, when y'all dating. These are the questions that y'all should have. Y'all shouldn't be talking about reality shows, what they doing on TV, none of that.
They don't care about none of that. They don't care about none of that.
The fourth one, y'all have to agree on the big things. I kind of think we talked about that in the relationship. As far as family, if y'all want to have a family, y'all want kids, how many?
Now that was big for us.
Yep. Does she want to be a stay-at-home mom, or will y'all both work? How will y'all do these things? Will the husband or the man you're dating, will he want you to go out and support him? That's all questions you have to ask. That's important, because we didn't really think that was a thing, but now we see that is a thing. We're hearing in different groups and different areas that a lot of the men, they make the women go out and work, bring them their checks, while they staying at home studying the Bible. Scripture says that the man must work. He must work. If a man doesn't work, he don't eat.
And if a man does not provide for his household, he's worse than an infidel.
Exactly. That's 1 Timothy 5:8.
Oh.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he had denied the faith. He is worse than an infidel. He is worse than an unbeliever. So ladies, if you're trying to hook up with a guy that doesn't work, he wants you to work and bring in the money, he's worse than an unbeliever. It's the man's job to take care of the house, to provide for his household. It's not the other way around. Again, we put these things backwards.
Right.
It doesn't go like that, guys.
And I want to say this too. The Proverbs 31 woman, she was something. She was amazing. And she was an entrepreneur. So she did things too to bring in income. That's okay. But her job was not I'm going to take care of everybody in this house. This house and take care of my husband. That's backwards.
Exactly.
You know, you can contribute and you can help, but at the same time to be looking at it as because we see situations like that where the woman is the provider. And let me tell you, those men that have those kind of women that allow them to be providers, the truth, they're lazy.
Yep.
They lazy. They're in and out of jobs. They don't keep jobs.
Yep.
It's
really like the woman is his mother. It just followed, like I was just saying, what he learned from childhood, he brought into adulthood.
Yep.
So just like his mom was taking care of him, he's looking for a woman to take care of him. So it don't work like that, guys, and that's the question.
I'm sure some of you have seen.
That's the behavior you have to watch. Exactly. That's the behaviors you have to watch. That's the questions you have to ask.
Right.
Scripture tells us, guys, how we were just talking about how y'all have to agree upon the major things, whether it be business, working, kids, family. Y'all have to agree, because Scripture tells us not to be unequally yoked with non-believers. The light and darkness, it doesn't mix.
Right.
2 Corinthians right here. You want to read that?
2 Corinthians 6:14, it says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship had righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion had light with darkness?
Light and dark don't mix. So again, if you're a spiritual person and you're trying to hook up with this free spirit, this guy that wants to run the street, or this woman that wants to stay in the street, it's not going to work. Light and darkness don't mix. So again, guys, and this is the next dude, and that's how you know what this person is, because a lot of times a person can tell you, oh, I'm this, I'm to try to get what they want to get. They'll tell you and put up the facade, put up the mask to get what they after.
Play the character.
Yeah, play the character. But you can't fall for the smooth talk. Our last do what you must do when you're courting and dating and trying to find that right mate, the right life partner, the right husband, the right wife. You must watch behavior. Don't fall for the smooth talk. Because how will you know a tree? How you know a tree? Matthew 7:20.
Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them.
You will know them by their fruits. Their fruit is their behavior. So if he's talking about, I like to work and I'm a hard worker, but every time you call me out with his boys hanging out playing ball or playing video games or hanging out at the bar, that doesn't add up. You have to watch the behavior. And that's what we teach our kids. Look at their behavior. My son, he's out looking at females or trying to find his right mate. He looking at the commercial that they're putting out. He looking at their behavior, how they conduct themselves. And that lets him know up front that, okay, this is the type of person I'm looking for, or this I'm walking into trouble. I'm setting myself up for failure. Mm-hmm. So that's what we have to do, guys. That's the do's.
Right.
Let's move into the don'ts. What you shouldn't do in a relationship. I mean, while you're courting, while you're dating, looking for the right mate. What you shouldn't do. You want to go with the first one?
Yes, it says, don't try to build on hope when you see red flags. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. Now, this goes back to the story we just shared with the girl.
Yep.
He literally was showing her who he was. Exactly. Obviously, he was very transparent with her and honest. Yep. Because he was being transparent and honest. She just didn't want to hear it because she had it stuck in her mind that, oh, he has great potential. I can change him. We have a lot of women that feel that way, that they can change a man. And you just setting yourself up for a big surprise and for heartache.
Exactly.
Because you can't change no man, just like a man can't change a woman either.
Exactly.
Now, we can probably contribute to, like, say, because you do see stories too, like, okay, for us, we've both helped each other, to change throughout the years in a positive way, but the ultimate person that did that was YAH.
Exactly.
He was the head of all of that. He just used us to come together because he know what each of us needed. And he used us to come together to help what he was trying to do.
Exactly.
So you can contribute to that, but still it has to make sense. We're not saying just contribute to somebody that is just not, he's not, she's showing you or she's showing you by behavior.
Exactly.
I'm not good for you.
Exactly. So you trying to build someone on hope that's not there, that's not in them. Yeah, you can't build on a false hope, guys, because it's not going to work. It just isn't going to work. So don't put yourself in a trap, put yourself in a situation where you're already set up for failure because your beliefs are so totally opposite from each other.
Right.
The next don't. And a lot of people fall for this. This is kind of the standard that society puts out there.
Right.
They are all going for looks, relying just on the looks. You want to kind of touch on that?
Let's see.
You can talk about the women.
Yeah, I would just say, when it comes to the looks, how it's important for us to not just, because remember the scripture says that YAH does not, he's not like man. He does not judge on appearance. He judges with right judgment. So it's really, of course you want to be able to be attracted to someone, but at the same time too, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is the heart and the character.
Exactly.
Finding out what's the character of that person. Because on what we see on social media and TV, we're really on the television shows, like with the rap music and the reality TV. They often show us the men that's tatted up and look. Again, if you on this channel, then I'm guessing that you are either in the truth, living right, striving to live right, striving to come into the truth. We don't know, but again, this is not no worldly mess here, so we gonna tell the truth. Tattoos, we've been there too, okay, when we were younger, but when you know better, you do better. We didn't know YAH.
Exactly.
So my thing is, that's what they're promoting. We can't help it if we got it and then came into the truth. We can't help that. That's who we are. But YAH has forgiven us.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying that's what's promoted today.
Society's promoting like a hyper masculinity.
Hyper masculinity too. Yes. Where the man has to be extremely just hardcore.
Tattoos on his face,
like
all
I was
over
saying,
his
tatted
body.
up. don't want to forget anything. And then, like, I would say to a lot of us women, we're looking at it as because they show that they're hard, that they're protectors. But they're not realizing that what they're calling protection is really brokenness. These men are broken.
Right.
Because if you're gonna go and touch your whole body and touch your neck, your face, I mean all of these things, something here is wrong. Something spiritually is wrong to cause you to do that. Period, point blank. That's the truth of it. So if a man is doing that, that's not showing that he's hard. That's showing that he is broken and he needs healing. He needs healing.
Take notes, ladies. And the same thing for men. Men are relying, just like the comment we read at the beginning. They looking at these Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's. That's their image of femininity. So the women have to portray that. That's what they're attracted to. When there's a whole other group of women that are modest, that conduct themselves in Yah's ways, that's looking for family, looking to settle down. They're not all out there and putting themselves all over social media and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to say too, there's men too who are decent men, who are some real good guys. It's not just the women; they have men too, because we be hearing that, like the women saying that we can't find a good man, the men saying they can't find a good woman, and the question is, where are you looking? For the one, I'm gonna say for the woman, for the man, maybe where are you looking? But for the woman, for me, I'm gonna speak to the women on this one. We really don't need to try to look to find no man.
That's what I said at the beginning.
We don't really need to look to find no man. All we have to do is look to Yah.
Fear Yah. In Yah from the jump.
Find contentment in Yah. Pray to him. Tell him he already knows our desires before we even tell him. He already knows what's in our hearts. Tell him what you want in your life. If you want, pray for your husband. There's nothing wrong with that. I hear people, there's different opinions. But when I was younger, I'll tell you, I prayed for a husband. I prayed for a man who would fear Yah. Of course, I didn't know him by name and all of this like I know today, but I still was spiritual. He still had that in my heart. I prayed for a man that would fear him. I prayed for 2 children. I prayed for a girl and a boy. Okay, that's what we have.
That's what we have.
A daughter and a son. Yah literally gave me that. So I'm saying that to say it's no boasting or anything. It's really to let you know that prayers work. Pray to Yah and tell him. But just work on you. Work on yourself. Work on you spiritually. Work on you mentally. And Yah is going to draw that right man that you need. Not I must just say the one that's right for you to you in his perfect timing. And that way you don't have to rush into something and then end up broken, heartbroken because the man was not ready for you. Or y'all just wasn't ready for each other.
Right. That goes with how you said y'all not ready or you settling for something. That's what ended up happening because we rely on these things. We're going on the looks or the standard that society puts out for them, that we put ourselves in these bad situations. Just like how we're talking about these men, they're going around saying they only want virgins. Well, another side of that is, okay, it's too hard to be monogamous. That's the thing that's going around too. So I'm not going to be monogamous. Let's just have a man will say, I just want a bunch of women. I want a bunch of wives. Because it's too hard. A man not meant to be with one woman. So the women are putting themselves in these bad situations because they think that it's a limited amount of men and they're not finding contentment in Yah.
Exactly.
So I'd rather have a piece of man than no man. I'd rather have all of Yah.
Exactly.
And not have to deal with these foolish men.
And then you start designing the unhealthy man.
Exactly.
The man who's a womanizer, like a whoremonger. All of these things, the men that mistreat women. So.
And he's using scripture to fulfill his lust. I talked about that. Look at the scripture, Proverbs.
Because it's in scripture about a virgin. It does talk about that. But the truth is, are many women... They have them. And then if you're talking about a lot of virgins, Where you gonna find? I'm not saying that. I know they have some women who are, and bless your heart, and I'm proud of you, and stay that way till you get married.
Right.
You know, stay that way, because I'm many women who have not done it that way, who have come to the knowledge of the truth, and they're healthier now, spiritually and mentally. Wish they would have done it that way. So don't change. Continue in that.
Exactly. And like I was saying, these men, these adulterous men, these whoremongers, they use the scriptures. Then that's the twist that they're using now. They're using scriptures to fulfill their lust.
Yep.
So like they were saying, they have these men. They were players out in the street. Now they're using scriptures to try to be pimps and players in the truth.
And that
they
was
want all these multiple
for
wives,
us.
right? They're getting all these multiple wives so they can fulfill their lust. Proverbs 6:25 says, "Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captive you with her eyes. For the prostitute reduces you to a loaf of bread, and the adulteress preys upon your very life." So men, you're not supposed to lust after these women. You're not supposed to fulfill the desires of your lust. Lust, I've heard somewhere, is like an indistinguishable fire. It can never be quenched. So that's why men have to put their trust in Yah. And a lot of these men too, they think that if I have multiple wives, my life gonna be better. Show me an example in the Bible where one marriage with multiple women, or a man that had a bunch of wives, where it worked out. Nowhere in scripture did it work out.
Or where the women wasn't like going back and forth with each other, like envying each other, jealous of one another. And
Sarah and Hagar, King Solomon, he had all the wives, but he turned his heart away from Yah. And so that's what happens when you start trying to fulfill your lust. You turn your heart away from Yah. King David. Yep, King David also. So guys, we talked about that. Let's another don't go outside yourself to match the person's personality, and that goes back in line with what we were talking about. Don't go outside yourself to settle for somebody that you know that y'all views don't align, y'all beliefs don't align, y'all don't match. So don't settle to try to fit them, because guess what? It's something that we always tell our kids: the sheep is going to take on the ways of the lion. You're going to have to adjust to their ways.
Absolutely.
They're not going to come down to your ways.
I want to share something too, because that's what it makes me think about. There's a situation on that happened at my son's college. They have a girl, you know, she was always dressed, you know, she was always clothed. She would go around him. They would talk from time to time, you know, just regular conversation, just, you know, being friendly, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, she was a decent girl. Well, recently, the next semester, she just runs and throws herself at him. And this time, he's like, whoa.
Right.
She comes with provocative clothes, short shorts, and just, you know, just revealing everything.
Right.
And he was like, whoa.
What happened to her?
What happened? And he was so shocked and disappointed, because he was like, whoa, what happened? Like, she don't even have to do all of that. She didn't have to do all of that. But again, she's feeling pressured by the world. By the world standard. And also what guys are showing her that they want and they are interested in. And at the same time, that goes back to when we're looking at those type of guys, the unhealthy men or unhealthy guys I was talking about, we look past the healthy ones, because she didn't even see this particular guy is a healthy one, and he's looking for what I was, trying to do the right thing, desiring that wife, and want to do it right according to Yah. But at the same time, she came with a whole different. So now it's like she likes him and she's trying to throw herself at him, and he's like, sorry. Can't do it. It's not gonna work here.
Totally changed. You done changed your whole personality.
Your whole personality. This is not what That's not what I wanted. That's not what I'm looking for.
Way outside yourself. Now, last don't, guys, when you're dating, when you're courting someone, trying to find the right mate, the last don't we have is don't go by the world standard of masculinity or femininity, and that's what we're talking about. There's two extremes. There's the hyper masculine guy, tattooed up, muscle bound, all that other stuff, fast cars, drugs, and all that other stuff. And on the opposite end is the Megan Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's and all that. There's nothing. Where's the healthy balance? Don't go by Yah's standard. Yah's belief. And how you do that is just setting putting yourself in those situations, looking for those things, getting inside Facebook groups.
Right.
That's the great thing about technology now, is that it allows us to put ourselves in groups with people that have the same beliefs as us, or the same
Right.
things that we agree upon.
Right.
And how you find out if they're fake or phony or not is by building on friendship. That's how you're gonna exactly testing the spirit. That's how you're gonna find out, okay, is this person really trying to walk out what they're talking? I'm not just gonna fall for the smooth talk.
Right.
Just because they come out, oh, I wear my fringes, or shalom.
That's all physical.
Yeah, it's all physical.
You gotta test that spiritual.
Exactly.
What's in that heart?
Exactly.
What he and she dealing with when it comes to character?
Yes, indeed. So, guys, that's kind of was our lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. It was some great tips.
I want to say something, because you was talking about the men, the what you said, the hyper masculinity. But I want to speak to the women too, because this is what society is promoting when they're promoting the independence. Oh, I've seen that the other day. Women, like grown women in their 30s and 40s, talking about, I'm independent, I don't need no man. I got my own house, my own car, my education, and all of this stuff.
Wow.
No. No. That's what the world is promoting. That's what the world says. But you always have to line it with what YAH is promoting and what YAH says. Because that's a complete turn off when it comes to a good man.
To a good man. A man wants to be a provider, which is all the things that the scripture says. It says the man must work. How can a man work? And how can y'all build something together if you already got everything? So
and that can cause you to emasculate the man.
Exactly.
So it's nothing wrong with having your education or being that, because some women are in a position where they have to provide because they were in a toxic relationship, and that's smart for them to do that. There's nothing wrong with that, but still knowing too that it's okay to be interdependent. I'm only doing this until I find the right person, right person in my life, where we can both come together, bring our resources together, and make it work. But I'm not coming in there with, I don't need you. I got everything already.
And that's you playing right into the devil's hand. That's what he wants. The devil wants to isolate us. He wants the man against his wife, the wife against her husband. And the more we isolate, the more we fall into his hands, fall into his traps.
Absolutely.
Yep. So guys, that was the lesson. I hope you took notes and you found some great tips. We felt like it was a needed topic to discuss. Again, this is advice that we would give to our kids. So we're just sharing it with you guys over 22 years of relationship advice, marriage advice with you guys, and we hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. Put your comments, share, like, whatever. We just thank you for spending this time with us. And if you want to see more of these videos, just let us know. One of the next ones we're going to do is about the black family. So
that's going to be a big one.
That's stay tuned and enjoy. And again, we have a marriage video where we talk about marriage advice. This is for the married couples. We just felt like this was needed for those who are dating or courting someone and saying, knowing what to look for.
And be patient, just be patient and pray about it, pray about your situation. Don't rush like we were saying.
And Yah's gonna answer. He's gonna deliver.
Absolutely.
So guys, that's it. We hope you enjoy your day.
All right.
And have a good one.